Hello, everyone, and welcome to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and this is the review of the new slasher film, I Know What You Did Last Summer. And I know it sounds crazy for a lot of people, like, new. That movie came out in 1997, Kevin. Well, we got another one, and they chose to call it by the same name, I Know What You Did Last Summer, the fourth film in this franchise, believe it or not. It's I Know What You Did Last Summer, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, I Will Always Know What You Did Last Summer, and now we go back full circle to I Know What You Did Last Summer. This film is directed by Jennifer Caton Robertson, and along with a crop of new young actors to be a part of this film, we have returning stars from the original film from 1997, Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jennifer Love Hewitt, who is setting the internet on fire right now for reasons I just don't understand. Jennifer Love Hewitt showed up at the premiere on the red carpet, and she doesn't look how she looked in 1997, believe it or not. I know this is a shocker. It's like, oh my God, she's aged. She's put on a couple of pounds, but in my humble opinion, she is gorgeous. She is absolutely beautiful, man. I don't understand why people are shaming this woman. And most of the people who are shaming her don't look nothing like her. You know, they wish they had the body of a Jennifer Love Hewitt. And that's for the woman side. And for the man side, they wish they had a woman that looked like Jennifer Love Hewitt. But they rather sit there and shame this woman. Jennifer Love Hewitt is beautiful. She looks, I always did have a little mini crush on her back in the day in the 90s. But now she's filled out. She's in her 40s. She's had 3 children. What you expect her to look like? You know what I'm saying? She looks great to me. She is fine. Let's just put it plainly. She is fine. And so people need to chill out with that. But anyways, she's back in this film. And just like the first film in this franchise, the plot takes place 27 years after the murders in Tower Bay, when another hook-wielding killer appears and begins targeting a group of friends 1 year after they covered up a car accident in which they supposedly killed someone. Same plot, same town, and some of the same actors. I'm gonna be just downright frank and honest with you. This movie is horrible. I mean, and when I say horrible, it's not like I had super high expectations for I Know What You Did Last Summer. I'm not a purist. I'm not somebody who holds that original film in such high regard. Like, oh, it's untouchable. You know, don't mess with the lore. It's a slasher film from the 90s. I mean, come on, man. It's not Citizen Kane or Back to the Future or anything like that. It's a basic teen horror film from the 90s. And did it warrant a kind of a reboot? You know, is it the time to kind of reboot something like this? Sure. It wouldn't have hurt anything. You know, that's why I was like, okay, it's worth a shot. But man, this movie was so bad. They didn't even try. They didn't even try to do anything special. You know, anything different. It was the same thing. And they managed to make it worse. Like I said, the original film, the first film in this franchise, isn't an Academy Award nominated picture by no stretch. But at least it was entertaining. At least it had tension. At least the kills were good in that movie. Here, nothing. There was nothing. There was no tension. There was no jump scares. The kills were horrible. You know, when you go to see a film like this, you don't go for the plot, you don't go for the acting, and you don't even go for the direction here, but you basically go to see the innovative kills. How is somebody going to be vanquished in this film? For example, you look at the Final Destination films. The Final Destination films are what they are, but what keeps that franchise pumping and successful is the new ways they find to kill somebody. And I know that sounds so wrong, but it's the truth. That's the movies. These are the movies that you go see for that. These were the lamest kills I have ever seen in a movie. Nothing shocked me. Nothing wowed me. It was just lame. So lame. The acting in this movie is some of the worst acting I've seen. This was CW level acting. You know what? I take that back. And I apologize to all the actors and actresses who have shows on CW, because I didn't mean to insult you like that. This was worse than that. This was like a table read. It's like they sat around the table and just read lines to each other. And that's how it displayed on screen. There was no emotion behind the delivery of these lines by anybody. It was maybe one or two scenes, but that was from the veteran actors who are seasoned and know better. But I say that, but in this young cast, you have Madeline Klein, who I've seen in a lot of things, and she was good in a lot of things that I've seen her in. It's like she went back in time, and like she first started out and don't know how to act. I know you know how to act, and so it's got to be the movie. Sue Wonders, seen her in what was that movie with Pete Davidson? I can't remember the name of it right. But Bodies. The movie was alright, but she was good in it. Pete Davidson was good in it. She can act. I don't know what happened here. I don't know if it was the screenplay or what. Speaking of that, the screenplay, what did they do? This was so Chat GPT. You cannot tell me it wasn't. This was horrible. The same person who wrote this film also wrote Thor: Love and Thunder. If that don't tell you what all you need to know in regards to this movie, I don't know what else to tell you. This was so poorly directed, written, acted. I don't know why it came out in summer. I don't know why it came out in theaters. I could have seen this on Prime Video or Netflix or something like that. That's what this is worthy of. In the theater, no, you're taking up valuable screens in the movie theater with this movie. And I hate to go so hard on this movie, because all movies are hard to make, even the bad ones. A lot of work goes into making a 2 hour or an hour and 30-minute film. And so I respect the filmmakers who put films together. But this movie, midway through, honest to God, I'm not lying. I'm not exaggerating or anything. This is what ran through my mind midway through this film. Are they purposely trying to make a bad movie? I had to ask, and I asked myself that question 3 times in this movie. It was like they done things on purpose just so it can be campy and bad, but they weren't going for the campy route. They actually was trying to take themselves seriously. Had they went full camp, I would have accepted it more. I probably would have stood up and cheered. That's fine. But no, they actually tried to take themselves seriously, and it just fell flat as a boulder at the bottom of the ocean. It's regrettable. Freddie Prinze Jr., Jennifer Love Hewitt being a part of this film, I get the intention, and for the better or worse, they were the best part of the movie, because they have chemistry together. I mean, it's been over 30 years, so they know how to work with one another. They know these characters up and down. They've played them 2 or 3 times, so it was good for nostalgic reasons, I suppose. But Jennifer Love Jennifer Love Hewitt's character had a line in this movie that hit home so hard. This probably was the best written line in the entire film. And she said, Nostalgia's overrated. And I was like, yes, you're right. You're 100% right, especially in regards to this movie. My God. The reveal at the end. The reveal at the end. It, I was hoping, I really was. It had got to the point where I almost got on my knees and prayed to my Lord and Savior that the end of this movie can at least be decent enough for me to accept this movie as a movie, as something that was somewhat entertaining. No, the ending made it even worse. The reveal of the killer or killers, whatever. I don't even care if I spoil it. At this point, it don't even matter. The reveal of the killers was so lame and didn't make any sense whatsoever as far as the lore of this franchise. And I'm not even I know what you did last summer stand. I'm just a casual viewer. But even I was kind of offended by the fact that how do you betray these characters like this? It's like you did this for shock value. You just to wow the audience, but you didn't wow anybody because it was like you knew this was the case. It wasn't even a surprise. It was like I knew this. This movie is horrible. And you may ask, well, Kevin, did you like any part of this movie? Yeah, I did. There was one scene, and I mean this literally, one scene. And yes, I'm gonna spoil it. I don't care, and I'm pretty sure you don't care. There's a surprise cameo in this movie, or at least it was a surprise to me because I had no idea that she was gonna be in it. It was none other than Freddie Prinze Jr.'s real life wife herself, Sarah Michelle Gellar. She returned in this film, and you're like, wait, she died in the very first movie. Yeah. In the scene that she's in, it actually was a good scene. It was a dream sequence. And I'm like, oh man. And I don't know if they used de-aging on her or not, but she looks just like she looked in 1997. I've seen her recently, and she looks the same. She hasn't aged badly. She fine wine, man, fine wine. But she looked great. Her acting was awesome. You know, she was the best part of the movie. Best scene, the most well written scene, well acted scene. Had no business in this movie, but we got it, and it's the one thing in this movie I actually enjoyed. Had we got about 2 or 3 more scenes like this, I probably would have celebrated this film. And then you get a post-credit scene or a mid-credit scene, whatever. Well, I'm not going to spoil that, but it's like, oh my God. It's like, what's the point? What's the point of this mid-credit? Nobody is going to go see another last summer movie. That's it. This is it for this franchise, in my humble opinion. But yeah, this was a horrible movie, and I can't get it out my head. I can't get this out my head. The end of this movie was so bad. This was probably the worst ending to a movie I have ever seen. It was jaw dropping. It was like, did they really say that? Or are they really doing this? I mean, at the end, I would tell you, normally for a movie this bad, I would not recommend it. But I'm going to go against the grain here. Go see this movie. I think everybody needs to see this to believe it. That this movie actually got made. This got greenlit. This actually got a $20 million budget. This movie got made. And I cannot believe that this was a greenlit by a studio. I just in a summer release nonetheless. Man, you cannot make this stuff up. I know what you did last summer. Gets a letter grade of an F. I can't give it no other grade. I can't. There's nothing about this movie that's good. Absolutely nothing. And the sad part is, I'm not even disappointed by that. I'm not even angered by that. Normally, a F movie would anger me. The fact that I wasted an hour and a half or 2 hours of my life, but it didn't even affect me like that. It was more comical than anything. But it is mind-boggling that this movie exists. But that's my humble opinion. You may go see this movie and feel, man, it's the greatest horror movie of all time. Look, like I always say, film is subjective. You know, what works for me may not work for you. What works for you may not work for me, or vice versa. However, you know that's how movies work. That's how anything works. Music, styles of clothes, fashion, and all that good stuff. Everybody has different tastes, but I don't see nobody liking this. I don't see how anybody could like this movie. But if you're one of the few that actually do, I would love to hear from you. Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for the show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Don't forget about YouTube. Subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel and like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this glowing review of I Know What You Did Last Summer. I want you all to know that I love you, continue to love everyone, and until we speak again, you all be blessed.